believed it did. They have not had the understanding of why something happened. And for many of them, they will have a completely different perspective of that once they've explored it on another level. And that has been extremely helpful to their healing and understanding. Many of them will find that they've been taken on the craft for medical procedures that are in part of a healing, often a healing procedure as well. There's also the understanding that when I've asked them on a soul level or on any level whether this is part of their consented experience, they will see them often see themselves as a ball of light, as a soul essence, agreeing to certain interactions, because what they gain from that interaction can be on a multitude of levels, including their healing, their awareness of other realms, may actually be a direct result of their encounters with any particular type of being. Some of the beings are considered robotic, but in fact many of my clients have found that they have felt great love from some of the Zetas, and their emotions, they will tell me, even their sense of humour is telepathic. Just that's why people through their fear will not see an expression of emotion, but actually the emotion is conveyed literally through the telepathic transfer, and even showing that they've got a sense of humour. One lady described to me very clearly that she had, as a 7-year-old child, was taken down back off the ship with a grey, and the grey was trying to show her how much he cared, and he put in it from his mind an etheric hand around her, and she wanted to show that she'd learnt something on the craft too, so she created through her consciousness an etheric hand around him, showing again that she had a great relationship with him and that she felt a great sense of connection, and there was a real sense of camaraderie. So not all the data seems to suggest that these different intelligences, and there are many kinds of grey and many types of Zetas, that in fact they're all robotic and uncaring at all. In fact, the contrary is that often it seems to be a lack of understanding of them from that other level, which they may discover if they do regressions or whatever. I can only tell you what my research is showing, and I've worked with over 1,800 cases now, and this is the background to that. What I have seen though is man's inhumanity to man, and there are a number of people heavily traumatized by experiences where there are pseudo-abductions, which is the military programmed abductions, where there are things called programmed life forms that have been created that are in fact deliberately difficult or traumatic, or have treated people traumatically, but they are not the extraterrestrials, they are programmed life forms. So some of them are programmed life forms, and these I have only recently in the last few years learned about and talked to people who've had the experiences with these programmed life forms that are in fact very cruel and very uncaring, including, and interestingly I was told by one of my clients that she was shown energetically how to tell the difference between a programmed life form by the beings on the craft to a real ET. So this is where we have to be careful, because there are many layers to this, and we have to be careful how we judge experiences just from one perspective, because sometimes on a deeper level there's a greater awareness, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does indeed. In fact, for me, if you are able to perceive something, just anything, with perfect clarity, then that's it. Every word and everything has an ultimate meaning. So that's on the deepest level that everything is. So I understand that how different nuances can be placed, different extremes of perceptions can be placed on the same thing happening.
And how we view from our fear, or do we view in a place where we can actually get that deeper understanding from our superconscious self that is actually showing us what the real meaning of a certain interaction or what is being conveyed. And those are the levels that are extremely helpful for those that have, for whatever reason, haven't understood, or are still frightened, or still very fearful of their interaction. It changes from then on. Many of those that have come to me and had greater understanding, their whole energetic makeup changes, and their interactions are different from then on, and they communicate in a completely different way.
It's and this is where our growth lies. Here is in the darkest and the hardest and most traumatic experiences. That's where our real power lies. So so the clouds definitely have a silver lining. In fact, they're all gold. So
well, the parallels between shamanism and the fearful kind of abduction are very, very interesting, in the sense that as the shaman has to face their demons and their greatest fears before they operate in a multidimensional reality, so the same thing happens for those that have the very fearful abduction, because actually it is like a modern day shamanic experience, because it forces us to transcend our fears to gain new understanding of the other realms.
So you've had abductions with the Greys, obviously quite a few, because I think I read somewhere that 1/3 or 2/3 of everyone has been abducted by Greys. Something like that. Anyway, a huge fear. What about the reptilians? Do you get many abduction stories? Many people come to you that have had experiences with the reptilian race, or any of the different types?
Some of the most common species that people have interactions with, apart from the Zetas, is the praying mantis, insect-like beings, very ancient, very wise beings. The reptilians, lizard-like, certainly very much part of that. Obviously humanoids are another, tall, blue luminescent beings, light beings are another one that is a very common one. There's some of the more, some beings that have red hair and green eyes with no pupils are quite a common one as well.
Red hair and green eyes.
Yeah, but no pupils.
That sounds
humanoid.
Familiar to the people in Abduction to the Ninth Planet. Maybe not. But,
there's a number. What I look at is when I get contacted by people all over the world, they will tell me the different types of beings that they interact with. Often on the craft there is a mix of Zeta, human, and maybe Manta. They're all cooperatively working together. Just as many of the species on this planet are a mix of more than just human. Maybe a mix of Zeta, maybe a mix of Manta Zeta, some Manta, some a mix of reptilian Zeta or whatever. So we are all hybrids, and we all have different mixes depending on the programs that we are on and the abilities that they want to bring to this planet.
Beautiful. And in the future, we will all be reconnected with those star families and know them as our families. We will know the Manta beings as our brothers, and the Pleiadians and the Nordics as our family. Have you had many of well, it's obvious you've had elevating experiences with extraterrestrials, or are there any that really impressed you, that we are here for love, we care about you, anything that's, I mean, you would have had a few.
Oh look, a number of a fair high percentage of what I call the star kids, star seeds that have come here, coming from all parts of the cosmos, bringing their own particular gifts, all coming with the message that they are helping us to evolve as a species now, and there's a cooperative of many different galactic nations being involved in this huge program, and all have a different role to play. Unfortunately, there's so much disinformation out there, there's so much fear out there, that whatever messages that are coming in, there's the other part of the paranoia of humans that think that in some way they're just here to take us over. Well, how can they take over what's already theirs, in the sense that they were the ones that were part of our the creation of Homo sapiens in the first place? So they're our family, they're our ancestors. You know, they are doing this on planets all over the cosmos and in other universes. As my clients have been told, we do this everywhere. You're just one planet of many that we are helping to grow up and help you to stop murdering one another and realizing there's a greater reality out there that you're part of, and you have gifts that you can't even imagine, but we can't let you access those gifts until you grow up. It's like giving at the moment a 3-year-old a loaded gun who doesn't realize it can shoot and kill people. That 3-year-old needs to grow up and realize that what he has in his hand is something that's lethal, so he has to have the awareness to know and have the responsibility to understand what those gifts are and how to manifest them. So at the moment, many different star beings